Have you missed the tax deadline and are wondering what penalties you might face? Stick with me because the IRS doesn't mess around with late filing and payments, and I'll explain exactly what happens. In this video, I'll break down the penalties for filing and paying your taxes late, how they're calculated, and how you might be able to reduce them. I've helped countless clients deal with IRS penalties and negotiate them down, and today I'm sharing exactly what you need to know to avoid costly mistakes. I'm Brad Paladini, a tax attorney with 12 years experience helping people navigate IRS penalties and avoid unnecessary fines. There's a key difference between filing late and paying late, and one is way worse than the other, so stick around to find out which one is worse. Let's first talk about the failure to file penalty. So the failure to file penalty is 5% of the unpaid taxes, and it maxes out at 25%. So if you owe $10,000 and file 3 months late, the penalty would be $1,500. So 5% at 3 months for the $10,000 that's owed gives you $1,500. Now, the failure to pay penalty is 0.5% a month. Again, it's based on the unpaid tax, and it too caps out at 25%. If that's not enough, interest is also charged on top of that. The IRS interest rate varies, but it typically hovers around 7 or 8%, at least it has in the last few years. Now, what happens if you file late and pay late? Well, in that case, the failure to file penalty is reduced from 5% down to 4.5%. You're still facing the 0.5% of the failure to pay penalty. And so all in, you're looking at a 5% penalty. So how do you avoid or reduce these penalties? Well, there's good news. You can reduce them or even eliminate some penalties if you act quickly. So first and foremost, if you are going into tax season and you know that you will not be able to file by the deadline, typically April 15th for individuals, you can file an extension. Now, you have to keep in mind that an extension extends the time to file the tax return, but not pay the taxes that are due. So even if you file an extension and you are given it until October to file the return, the payment is still due April 15th. So if you have no idea how much you're gonna owe, try to make the best guess you can and pay as much as possible by the deadline. That'll reduce the failure to pay penalty. And if you file the extension, you'll also avoid the failure to file penalty as well. Again, filing the extension only extends the time to file, not to pay. People are constantly surprised by this. There's a lot of misunderstanding surrounding it, but that is the case, and you should really understand it. Now, if it's too late, let's say we're talking about an old tax year and penalties have already accrued on the liability, maybe you've already even paid the penalties, you could potentially get them back. So there's two options to reduce or eliminate the failure to file and the failure to pay penalty. If you have a clean tax history, you could qualify for a one-time removal of these penalties. So what is a clean tax history? If we walk through an example, let's say you have penalties for the 2023 tax year. So you filed late and you paid late. The IRS is going to look at your 2022, 2021, and 2020 compliance history. And if you have no failure to file and no failure to pay penalties for those 3 years, they will grant a one-time penalty abatement. So whatever year you are trying to get a first-time abatement for, if you look at the 3 years prior to that and you have a clean history, the IRS will abate the penalties, remove the penalties, basically no questions asked. They just look at your compliance history, confirm that you haven't incurred these penalties before, and remove the penalties. Now, if that doesn't apply to you, you could still request that the IRS remove the penalties based on reasonable cause. This would be done by filing a Form 843 and explaining what reason or reasons you had for filing and paying late. And if the IRS agrees with you, they will remove the failure to file and failure to pay penalties. If this video is helping you understand tax penalties, please hit that like button so others can find this information too. If you're dealing with IRS penalties and need help negotiating them, click the link below for a free consultation. My team and I will review your case and help you find the best way to minimize the tax that you owe. And if you want to walk through Form 843, that form that will remove the penalties for failing to file and failing to pay on time. Make sure you subscribe and check out the next video. We're gonna walk through it step by step.